Twilight made our hearts twinkle with excitement in 2005, but when the cast hit the big screen in 2008, we couldn't help but wonder, do the actors and actresses really match the character descriptions in the books? For the most part, true fans disagreed.
I hate this. I hate what they've done to you.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at everyone's favorite vampires versus werewolf saga, Twilight. Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson will forever be remembered as Twilight's iconic couple, not only for the nostalgia that surrounds Twilight, but because of just how good the casting was compared to the characters in the book. But was the casting on point for the other actors and actresses in the 5-film saga? In today's video, we're going to be comparing the on-screen cast to the character descriptions found in the books. Age, physical differences, and unfortunate CGI are just a few of the problems with the on-screen portrayals. Robert Pattinson wasn't the first in line to play Edward. They wanted to pick Henry Cavill instead. Difficult to believe anyone else could portray the dreamy Edward Cullen, but it was close. Initially, Twilight creator Stephanie Meyer wanted Henry Cavill to be Bella's sullen romantic interest, but backed out on the decision due to Henry being a little older than she was aiming for.
And instead, a very talented actor played instead.
Although both actors have us drooling, Robert Pattinson definitely matched the description in the book. Lanky, less bulky, with untidy bronze-colored hair. He was more boyish than the others. His face was absurdly handsome. He looked like he'd just finished shooting a commercial for hair gel. We think this description is pretty spot on, especially the absurdly handsome part.
Beautiful. This is the skin of a killer, Bella.
Kristen Stewart had to wear contacts throughout the whole saga. Throughout Twilight, Kristen was tasked with wearing brown contact lenses for every shot. Being naturally green-eyed, and in order to match Bella's character perfectly, Kristen agreed and initially had no problem. That was until the vampire lenses came into play, which Robert Pattinson also commented on being terribly uncomfortable.
When you're trying to, poking your eye for 20 minutes, it's not the most pleasurable experience.
Aside from the contact lenses, though, Kristen Stewart was a perfect choice for playing Bella. Her ivory skin, slender figure, and awkward disposition was exactly how she was described in the book. It wasn't until after Twilight that we realized just how awkward Kristen Stewart is in real life. But hey, if the contact lens fits.
Please don't have any sort of...
chillax.
Nikki Reed had to wear a wig. In order to transform from natural brunette to blonde vampiress Rosalie Hale, Nikki Reed underwent a grueling 36-hour process to dye her hair. The problem? Her hair started falling out, which is clearly a problem. To stop premature baldness, production decided to move forward with Nikki wearing a blonde wig for the remainder of the saga.
And I looked at my wig when I took it off, and I was so happy to get that thing off.
Luckily, this was the only hiccup in Nikki's transformation into Rosalie. Her natural, flawless, and vixen-esque look was completely in line with Bella's description of her in the book, describing her as beautiful figure, the kind you saw on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. We're happy about this casting, and that Nikki Reed walked away from the saga with a full head of hair.
Do you need some help? I could do her hair.
Taylor Lautner didn't know what he was auditioning for. Without prior knowledge of what exactly he was auditioning for, Taylor Lautner was cast as werewolf Jacob Black with the understanding that Twilight was vampires and you're in a forest. We're glad he bit and took the role. It's hard to imagine anyone else we'd want to see rip off their shirt and run into the forest. While Taylor's character description didn't include his washboard abs, it did include a description of him having long hair pulled back in a rubber band. Like Nikki Reed, Taylor also jumped on the wig wagon in order to match this description. While his long hair drove the audience mad, apparently the wig drove him mad.
Tell me, what's your first Twilight number? Wig.
He went on record saying, "The wig. It was a very important co-star. Right now, I'm not missing much. There was hatred between both of us. It did not like me, and I did not like it. Not fond memories." Luckily for Taylor's sanity, the wig didn't last long, and his short hair was a definite thirst trap for the remainder of the saga.
Hey, who's the grin, Jacob? We're just going for a ride.
ESME Cullen is the vampire mother of our dreams. Elizabeth Reeser was cast perfectly. Acting as mother to Edward, ESME Cullen is described in the books as having the same pale, beautiful features as the rest of the vampires. Something about her heart-shaped face, her billows of soft, caramel-colored hair reminded me of the ingenues of the silent movie era. She was small, slender, yet less angular, more rounded than the others. Pairing that description next to a photo of Elizabeth Reeser, we can see the casting motivation for the role, especially with her hair curled. Elizabeth truly became ESME.
I think that went well.
Clean this up. No.
Unlike the other actors on this list, the casting for sweet little Renesmee Cullen was anything but sweet. In the book, she's described as having thick curls that were blood color and a creamy, pale face with fiery cheeks and pink lips. While Mackenzie Foy was definitely a cute kid,
Dracula 1 and 2 are
Creepy.
she did not live up to our expectations as Renesmee. On top of this, the odd CGI decisions did not help the case. Rather than having a glittery look like her dad, Renesmee had an almost rainbow shimmer about her. Overall, Renesmee's casting definitely fell flat.
It was really important to have a very specific looking little girl.
Peter Facinelli was a lot older than we expected. As the adoptive father of Edward, Carlisle is portrayed in the book as being so good-looking that he actually stuns Bella the first time they meet and makes her question her motivation to be with Edward. While Peter Facinelli did a great job fitting the role,
I knew who I wanted to be. I wanted to help people.
the audience was anticipating someone in their 20s and comparatively attractive compared to Edward. If things had been different and Peter was cast alongside Charlie SWAN, we would have for sure been Team Dad for this actor. One thing Peter did nail, the blonde hair.
And so they had to do wigs, and I hate wearing them.
Dakota Fanning did not meet the mark. Dakota Fanning acted great, but wasn't a character match. Portraying Jane, the high-ranking Volturi Guard vampire, we had high hopes that she would match up with Bella's description in the book. The newcomer was as tiny as Alice, with lank, pale brown hair trimmed short. The body under the cloak, which was darker, almost black, was slim and androgynous, but the face was too pretty for a boy. The wide-eyed, full-lipped face would make a Bocelli angel look like a gargoyle. Yeah, anyone who's ever seen Dakota Fanning knows that that is not at all an accurate description. Luckily, her acting chops saved the day, and we were all on board with her feisty character.
The Volturi don't give second chances.
Portraying one of the main villains, Victoria on the big screen was disliked by fans, not only because of her opposition to Bella, but because of the disastrous casting of not one, but two versions of Victoria.
You don't trust me.
Rochelle Lefebvre was first up to bat as Victoria, falling short of matching the long red hair and sharp eyes that was reflected in the original character design. Due to scheduling issues, Rochelle was replaced by Bryce Dallas Howard, who didn't quite make the cut either. While her hair was definitely more in line, the actress' transition was difficult for fans to overlook.
Well, the circumstances around it had nothing to do with us.
Bella's BFF and right-hand gal pal, Ashley Greene, was a near-perfect choice to play the quirky and sweet vampire and adopted sister to Edward and his sibs. While her sharp elf-like features were on point with the original intention of the film, fans weren't quite on board with her haircut, and especially the age difference between the actress and her on-page character, with Ashley coming across as more of a young adult and less of a late teen. It may not have been a complete copy, but overall, we're happy with the casting.
No smudging my masterpiece.
Oh, she's right.
That concludes our casting character comparison of the Twilight saga. We've run through who matched and who the casting directors should have swiped left on. Do you agree with our points on today's video? Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best and worst character match. While you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for all your nostalgia content on the things.